Oh, this is cool!
And guys, we are back with another React stream. Love this video. I haven't seen it. This one was recommended to me by Hudson in the Discord. This is a guy who apparently has an issue with Gears 5 being non-binary because Sweet Baby Inc. is attached to it. I didn't even know that. The Sweet Baby Inc. was attached to the Coalition in any way. This is kind of an odd one going into it because the general reception of the E-Day trailer was that it was going back to form for Gears instead of being, you know, what the newer Gears games are, which we've talked about a lot before on the stream, being really, really crazy. Everything about E-Day screams like 360, like Space Marine 2, you know, like going back to roots. So continuing to bring something like this up feels like, you know, maybe the culture war is just a grift that never ends. His problem is with people can fly. I mean, I guess. But they made one of the best games ever, you know? Bulletstorm is goated. It's also goated in VR, which we might do on stream eventually one day. But without further ado, this is Dr. Disaster. We're going to listen to him talk about why Gears E-Day is a disaster for some reason. I'm going to make sure that this isn't too loud. Lower the volume a little bit. And we'll just see how this goes. B, if you're still here, welcome to your first making fun of, you know, a bigoted asshole on stream. I'd assume so. If he has an issue with Sweet Baby Inc., I am assuming right at the gate, right? Probably a negative on my part. I should wait for him to say his case. But tends to be the people who have a problem with Sweet Baby Inc. are exactly the same kind of people you would expect them to be. So we'll see when we get into this. Yippee. Yeah. All right. Let's go. Make sure my volume is playing. Looks like it.
What's up, Space Pirates? This is your
Okay. I didn't know we were getting hit with a character.
Admiral, the chronically charismatic Dr. Disaster, and one of the worst...
He's a dumb persona voice modulator because he's an edgy boy. So he hides his face and everything. See, on one hand, I respect it because I think protecting your privacy on the internet's a good thing. On the other hand, if you're saying stupid, hateful shit and also hiding your face, I kind of think you're lame. Is it even a mask? It kind of looks like just like a 2-second GIF, like in an old school video game. It doesn't even look like it's a video. It looks like it's a, you know, rendered thing just being replayed. Maybe he does more movement as it goes on. I don't know. I mean, I'm reacting to him in a Batman costume, but at least it was thematic to the stream, you know? We were just having fun.
feelings that you can get as a gamer is to find out that a title you were looking forward to has been hijacked and turned into a woke turd.
Got it.
I wore a gas mask once. Yeah, but that's for a bit. It's not the whole thing. Also, Gears E-Day awoke. We haven't even seen the game yet. It's not even out yet. Are you judging this entirely upon the merits of the fact that people can fly or the Coalition or whatever are connected to Sweet Baby Inc., which I don't even know if it's true. I guess we'll see. What?
Be kidding.
When Gears of War E-Day was announced at the Xbox Game Showcase last year, I was cautiously optimistic. After all, I played the hell out of the first few Gears titles. Marcus and Dom are my guys. I love the hell out of those characters. So, the announcement that we were going...
We will see. I'm not really familiar with this channel or this guy, if he has a history with Gears of War. I'm curious to see if he does the same thing as Andy does, where he's like, I love the old Gears games. Remember when Dom killed himself? And it's like the most recognizable part about Gears of War that anyone would know. And it's not really indicative of somebody who's played the games. But you volume turned up a bit? Okay. But I'm curious to see if it's like a series that he actually reps, or if he's just saying it.
To get another game with them in it, albeit as their younger selves, in a prequel, which admittedly isn't my favorite type of story, but still, this announcement last year
giant one,
had me
yeah.
doing my Macho Man Randy Savage impression.
Oh, yeah!
However, I'm sad to say that the game is now being worked on by a studio that I simply will not support. The studio People Can Fly was just announced as a
By the way, Gears has had co-developers since like its inception. It's a big fucking game. Aren't most of the people from People Can Fly from Epic as well? And or TC, obviously Ryan Clevin is over at People Can Fly now. They co-developed Judgment, which Judgment wasn't the best, but it's not like it's, you know, woke garbage. If anything, the most diverse characters in that game get the worst treatments. Sophia literally dies, and Cole is relegated to like a bad background character. Wasn't their first Gears game? Yeah, that too. Plus, you had like splash damage came on to help Gears 4 and 5. I keep hitting the microphone. What's so wrong with People Can Fly? Are you gonna? Is it solely the Sweet Baby Inc. thing?
developer of this game
was originally called Epic Games Poland. That makes sense. That makes sense why they were making Epic Games like Bulletstorm and stuff.
And for anyone out there who knows anything about the Gears of War franchise, you're probably thinking to yourself right now, dude, what's the problem? This studio has worked on Gears of War multiple times in the past, and they were involved with the OG greats. To which I reply that things change, folks. I mean, have you seen how insane the gaming industry has become over the past decade or so since these guys touched a Gears of War game?
Has the planet gone mad?
But a lot of the people over there have also changed. Like, the people who are at People Can Fly now have worked on Gears of War games in the last 5 years. Ryan Clevin was working on Gears 4 and 5. You'd think it'd be good. Like, as much as I have mixed feelings on 4 and 5, they're perfectly okay games. These are people who are veterans with not only Unreal Engine, but with Gears of War as a series. And, I mean, Bulletstorm was 2011. Well, yeah, but Judgment was 2013. Things do change, but things also change in both directions. Like, he says, like, things change as if he's trying to insinuate that things only have gotten more woke and more, you know, whatever. But things also change in the fact that people who were veterans on the Epic team have now moved to People Can Fly, or people who were veterans on the Coalition team have moved to People Can Fly, or people from People Can Fly and Epic have moved over to the Coalition. Like, it's just a whole ecosystem of developers that move left, right, and center. But everything is either black or white with these people. It's either woke or it's perfect and it's golden. And there's no in between. And there's no judging by merits. There is no actual meritocracy. There is straight white man and everything else. And it's fucking annoying every time. What was cool and edgy in 2011 is no longer relevant. Kind of. I think somewhat cool and edgy is still kind of it does well in certain circles, like Space Marine 2, obviously, is like one of those kinds of games. It's not as edgy, but it's very, like, cool 2010 type of game. But it died off pretty quickly. Like, it's not... The wider gaming audience now isn't going for that in full force, you know?
Yes, the planet has indeed gone mad, and I don't trust these dingleberries at People Can Fly any further than I can see them. Not after their last woke flop from a few years ago, and not after seeing this. Do you guys...
Oh, is this the... is this the Sweet Baby Inc. thing? This is weird, though, because there's so many good developers on this list. Like, there are some weird things with Sweet Baby Inc. Like that one lady saying that she won't hire white people because they're white. Like, that is, you know, that's... If you're trying to be inclusive and positive and stuff, that's not the message you want to push. But also, these are all great I mean, not all of them, but a lot of them are great fucking developers. Valve, I mean, Valve was also always woke. But Valve has not made a bad, maybe CSGO too, but Valve has not made a bad game. Okay, maybe Ubisoft. Santa Monica, God of War is still amazing. Some of these developers I recognize, but I don't recognize their work. Rocksteady. Like, the games on here that I'm thinking of from different developers are, like, mid, but they're not bad, and they're definitely not bad because they're woke. You know, the Suicide Squad game is not bad because it's woke. It's bad because it's a bad, boring game that doesn't make sense for the universe that it's in, like Gotham Knights. He was sorry for putting their game off Steam. Yeah, the whole thing with hatred is just stupid. It's just a stupid edge fest. Like, it's like edgy on purpose. It's very Warhammer-esque in that way.
Guys, recognize this list? This was the Sweet Baby Inc. client list that once existed on the Sweet Baby website before they tore it down. And if you look right there, you can see that People Can Fly is on the list. That tells me everything I need to know.
Things change. The Sweet Baby Inc. stuff was like a year, almost 2 years ago now. Can it not have changed that they don't do anything with Sweet Baby Inc. anymore in those 2 years? Is that not possible? Is it you work with them one time and then that's it? You're woke forever? You're woke and gay and retarded forever? And you can no longer do anything good? Is that the same logic we're working with here? Because I feel like that something doesn't add up about that.
About this game studio and where their priorities lie. A new Gears title should promise guns, blood, and guts.
It's not even like a video of him. It's literally just a GIF. He's literally just going back and forth and back and forth. It's like a 10-frame GIF of the character going back and forth like a fucking old school video game. He can't even do the video in the mask for the whole video. It's too much work, too much effort.
Fight through something that resembles literal hell. But with the modern iteration of People Can Fly now on board, we can reasonably...
Also, by the way, I find it funny that he says that like it went woke after People Can Fly got added to it. When Xbox Game Studios is on that list, and you know what's part of Xbox Game Studios? The Coalition, who were making Gears of War E-Day before People Can Fly came on. So the People Can Fly thing is just an excuse to tie it in when it was already a part of that same ecosystem, which is kind of fucking hilarious. Should be about guns and blood. Yeah, it is very surface level. But it is mostly true, even as much as like Cliffy B gallivants about poetic writing. For the most part, it is guns and blood.
Instead, expect them to subject us to their own personal hell that these progressive clowns live with in their minds.
Okay.
Soon you will see things more horrible than you could even imagine.
Well, maybe not that horrible, but still pretty bad.
I'm literally dancing for your amusement. Guy, most of your video, you're a JPEG. Shut the fuck up. Don't fucking play like you're doing work. This is a really weird nitpick, but like, what the fuck? Come on. You can't put like the, hey, I'm doing effort for your amusement. There's no effort being put into your fucking video. You shit this out in 2 hours. I know, because I could do the same thing. It was really lame. That's true. I was also Batman for your amusement. In a really uncomfortable, form-fitting suit. Lubricated by the blood of soldiers. I could see him saying that. Cool. I could use After Effects too, man. The suit's real.
Alright, me hearties, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also, don't forget to follow me on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1.
30-second intro?
In any case, let's dive on into this Gears of War E-Day game, which, As I said, I was once cautiously optimistic about, but now that optimism is all but gone. I suppose there's still a ghost of a chance that the game ends up being fine, but I'd give it like 100-to-1 odds at this point. I simply don't trust studios that would hire the likes of Sweet Baby Inc. You know damn well that the heads of the developers working in such a studio will have been bombarded with all kinds of progressive, ideological crap and toxic positivity. But let's look at this announcement real quick from Insider Gaming. This
toxic positivity. It just sounds like you don't like fun. Like, yeah, things can get to like the level of bad writing or whatever, right? Do you try to be like so you try to fit a universe into like a lens that just doesn't work for it if you have like a certain level of things to it. But we can't have the nuanced conversation of where does inclusivity end and where does form factor for a universe and writing in that level begin, when everything above God of War 2 2005 is woke and gay and dumb. You know, if there's no room for nuance and for you to take things on a merit-based system, just maybe analyze things as they are, instead of, you know, lumping it all in together as some woke disaster project before you've even seen gameplay of it, before you've even seen anything that isn't a pre-rendered cinematic trailer of it. Maybe, if you judged things based on their merit, I would take your argument seriously, that there's some nuance here between there's some bad writing over here and there's some stuff that's like included that doesn't really fit with how the world is set up, you know? But that's not it. It's either woke or it's good, which it's just bullshit. It's just complete hateful bullshit. And that's all it has ever been. And that means I can't take you seriously. I mean, I can't really take you seriously to begin with because you're just a fucking PNG. But come on. At least try to break it down in some way. And don't just say, woke, bad. That's like the laziest, lamest excuse you could ever have. And it requires zero thought to have that excuse, that argument. And it's just dumb. You're dumb and you're stupid. Come on. Do better. And probably buy a camera and record your videos. Please.
Article says People Can Fly is co-developing Gears of War E-Day with The Coalition. The studio announced on Monday. The studio returns to working on the franchise it helped develop up until 2013's Gears of War Judgment. Returning to collaborate on the next chapter of this legendary saga is both a privilege and an exciting opportunity to build upon the intense, visceral action and rich storytelling that fans have come to love, the CEO said. We are deep...
Hold on. Let's just do a little bit of... Sebastian. What the fuck? Oh, it's a Polish studio. I didn't even know that. I know fuck all about People Can Fly. I know they've worked on Bulletstorm and Gears. I didn't know necessarily all that much else about it. I think he deleted it. It wouldn't surprise me. What games have they made? Judgment. Okay. The next thing they did was Fortnite. Is Fortnite woke? Probably. Outriders. I don't know anything about Outriders. Apparently it's woke. Why? Because there's a bald woman on the cover. Is that it? I don't know why. Why is Outriders woke? Is there even gay people in it? Is there even... Is it purely because there's a bald woman and a person of color on the cover? Is that it? I have no idea. I never played Outriders, but they did Green Hell VR, Bulletstorm VR, and that's it. That's the only other game they've made since Judgment is Outriders. So, hold on. They have this insane history of wokeness, and it's one game. One game. They made Bulletstorm VR last year. Bulletstorm VR, which, by the way, continues to include all of the very 2011 style humor that was in the original game. It's all still in the, 2024 updated VR version of the game, which doesn't seem very woke to me. I thought woke snowflakes are supposed to get rid of anyone who says the word cunt, but it's still in Bulletstorm. They don't seem that woke. They'll call them the wokest horde, maybe. But it's like, what is People Can Fly's role in Gears E-Day's development to begin with? I know Ryan Clevin, I've said his name a few times now. I know he's a prominent figure in People Can Fly now. That seems to indicate to me that their inclusion on Gears E-Day is basically exactly the same as Splash Damage in Gears 4 and 5, where they're more supplementary and they're working on versus stuff and horde stuff, or PvE, PvP type stuff. How do you make versus woke? How do you make Team Deathmatch woke? With character skins? We're going to have Marcus in a maid outfit? That would go so hard, by the way. I would I would pay money for that. But what is so woke about PvP? How do you make the multiplayer woke? You have rainbow skins that are optional and you don't have to equip? Is that how you wokeify it? Because I don't understand. Even in this weird universe where woke equals bad, I cannot follow the logic of this stupid nonsense. The Judgment Rider isn't involved in E-Day? Oh, okay, that's interesting. That's good, though. Huh. Okay.
We're grateful for our partners' trust and support on this journey. And the thing is, anyone who is showing trust to this company has misplaced that trust. It has been over a decade since...
Misplaced that trust. Guy, the Coalition is part of Xbox Game Studios, which is also working with Sweet Baby Inc. If your issue is Sweet Baby Inc., they were already working with them before People Can Fly came on the fucking game. That's not... It doesn't matter. Do your research. Look at the screenshot that you showed us earlier. You didn't even have to make this video. You could have made this video last July when it was relevant. When did this get made? 2 weeks ago? Yeah, when the announcement was made. What the fuck? I shouldn't have to do your work for you.
Since the last good game that People Can Fly put out. They stopped working on Gears of War titles with 2013's Judgment. It's hard for me to believe, but Bulletstorm came out all the way back in 2011. It doesn't...
They made the Bulletstorm VR port last year. Which, as I said, it's not very woke. The Witcher 4 with Andy Pants? Yeah, it's like woman in the title. Woke! It's so surface level bullshit, and to me it's the biggest expose as to the shallowness of people who think like this, where it's like, if it takes something as simple as somebody is working with someone else for you to be like, oh, it's gonna be bad, and woke, I think you're a fucking idiot. You can't even stop to think, process, and maybe understand that that's not how things are made. Just slow down and use your brain for just a little bit. Just a tiny, tiny little bit. And you'll feel so much better. It's not that hard. All you have to do is think a little bit and judge things based not on, discriminating people for who they work with or whatever like that. Especially if there's no long history of something like that. With a studio like Ubisoft, they have a long history of putting out mid to crap games. They're not bad because they're woke. They're just bad, boring games. Or they're mid. So when, Assassin's Creed Shadows is coming out, it's not bad because wokeness, because Yasuke. It's bad because... it's not bad. We don't know yet. The game hasn't come out yet. But people perceive it as bad because Ubisoft has put out so many misses in the last decade that they're not really willing to give Ubisoft the benefit of the doubt. With a studio like The Coalition, or People Can Fly... The only game People Can Fly have really put out was Outriders, which I never played. I didn't see a whole lot of. The most I saw about it was that it was just sort of mid, Baldur's Gate triumphs this argument. Well, yeah. Baldur's Gate is the wokest fucking game on the planet, and it's also one of the best games on the planet. Especially as far as RPGs go, it is the best RPG ever made. And it will probably be that way until Larian makes another video game. But, People Can Fly don't have a bad track record. Outriders may have been mid. I'm not super familiar with it, but, Bulletstorm is still great. The VR port just came out. That's still, great and fun. Judgment was, mid. We played it a few weeks ago on stream. It was mid, but it was still enjoyable. Do you have any evidence? Or are you just saying, oh, well, these guys are woke, so therefore this is woke and this is now bad? Which, again, they were already working with the woke studio before People Can Fly came on. So you're just being dumb and stupid because you like, I don't know, being a public fleshlight? I don't fucking know. What is the point of this? Is the entire argument that this other studio that they're working with is dumb and gay, so now this game is dumb and gay? Cool. I never want to hear you ever say you care about a meritocracy or you care about a game just being a good game ever fucking again. Because that is some stupid bullshit.
Seem like it's that old, but apparently it is. And since then, they've done some work on Fortnite, and the studio has put out the game Outriders in 2021. And now, if you aren't familiar with the game Outriders, first of all, count yourself lucky, because it's an absolute stinker. But second of all, as you can tell from the butch haircut of the main character chick in the middle of the game's cover there.
Butch haircut. She's bald. Furiosa is bald. Is Mad Max dumb and gay and woke? Is that the category for wokeness? Woman with bald hair? What? There's butch women in Gears. They're not as butch as I'd like them to be. But what? Don't bring up Alex Brand. Alex Brand is a bad argument. She's incredibly harmful for the women in Gears, especially. But come on. Is there no other examples he has for Outriders except for the fact that I thought don't you make your own character in this game? I remember seeing that you create your own character. Do we know? Because hold on, I can just look. Outriders character creation. You do. Okay, so bald woman equal woke. Exactly. Now you're getting character. So it's not even. Oh my fucking god! Shut the fuck up and stop using this as a goddamn argument. The main character lady, you create your own character. That's not the main character lady. You make your own character look however the fuck you want. Are you telling me we're doing the Andy Pants thing again and you didn't play the fucking game? You don't know how the game works? It took me a Google search to look at how the game has you create your own character. So that's not the main character. Because you make your own. So the argument of the main character being a butch, bald lady, she's not even butch. She's fairly attractive, by the way. She's just bald. Is that it? Is that it? You're looking at the photo? You're looking at the photo. You question now if he's ever played Gears? He hasn't. Let's be honest. He hasn't. But He's looking at the cover of the game and judging the entire game. The entire game off of this cover. If that doesn't scream shallow and bullshit, I don't know what else will. Because her character model exists theoretically in the world, the game is woke and bad and every bald woman is gay. Exactly. That is exactly how they operate. No nuance, no meritocracy, no fair chance, no anything else. Dumb, woke, and gay. Bald. Is Mass Effect woke and gay, you think? With Jack? Is Jack woke and gay? If he believes this, he would see Cole as woke. Cole is a pretty woke character, but if this is his entire evidence for Outriders, I'm gonna be fucking livid. I'm already a little livid, but come on.
This isn't exactly the sort of game that most of us like to play. The story was...
You don't even play the game. Show me what the game looks like. Show me how it's a bad game, or how the writing is bad, or how it, uses gay characters as a crutch. That's a good way of saying, hey, maybe the wokeness, quote unquote, inclusivity isn't, being used correctly here because it's being used as a crutch for bad writing or something else like that, and you're passing it off. But that's not what you're doing. You're just saying the main cover art has a bald lady on it, so therefore it's dumb and woke and gay. Okay.
Absolutely,
he jumped the gun on E-Day. I mean, fair.
Gamers as being nonsensical and terrible, and the character creator wasn't...
Okay. You just mentioned the character creator.
As bad as Dragon Age the Veilguard when it comes to preventing players from being able to make a female character that looks like an actual woman, but I submit to you that character creators like the one in Outrider were just steps on the slippery slope which led to games like Dragon Age the Veilguard. It takes...
What does that even mean? What does it even mean? And by the way, in your own video, you disproved what you just said 30 seconds ago, where you said the main character lady is a butch, bald lesbian, by showing us that it has a character creator. What? So it's not the main character. There's a character creator where you can make conventionally attractive female characters. So your whole thing about bitching about the cover art is just not true. It's just not accurate. You're just lying. Cool. Awesome. I mean, I called it as a grift from the very beginning, obviously. Almost all of these are. But come on. At least try. Is it that easy to grift? Like, if I make, with this face and this beard, do you guys think if I made a grift video, if it would do exceedingly well? I think I could sell it. Is it this easy that you could just sit there and lie and go bald, gay, woke? Is it that easy? I mean, try the female character creation and we'll create a goddess of a woman. You could do that in most games. Women are just beautiful. Some men, but most of them don't compare to me. You need to get exhausted after a while. Well, yeah. I normally don't like to lie. That's why I'm not a big Alpha Legion person. But God, this is such bullshit.
Dedication to make a female that isn't all butch and masculine in Outriders. So yeah.
By the way, what's wrong with a butch female character? Zarya is fantastic. People thirst for magic. Butch ladies are not a bad thing. Rhea Ripley? Come on, dude. Are you telling me that you were that tasteless? Come on. Sneeko. Oh, God, no. I would hate to be there. That is a different level of atrocity.
Studio's recent work is definitely not something that I approve of. So, when these...
By the way, Outriders was what, 2017? So he started off by saying, hey, they made Judgment, but it doesn't matter because things change. That game came out 6-7 years ago now. things change, but only so much, I guess. The butch thing with the character, the last screen, was that she had a bit of muscle. Well, yeah, you know, women with muscles just doesn't exist. They all have to be, you know, for people like this to find them attractive, they have to look like 10-year-olds. We've been over this. It has to be the most effeminate, bullshit, femboy looking character for them to be even remotely interested in them. Otherwise, you know, it's just not a real woman. Ignoring the fact that, you know, again, Rhea Ripley, probably one of the most attractive people I've ever seen, could kill me with their bare hands. I'm just saying. I know you've thought about it, viewer.
Sweet Baby controversy happened last year, and we all took a look at the client list for that company for Sweet Baby.
These idiots claim Taylor Swift is actually trans because of her job. Yeah. It's the we can always tell crowd that is always wrong. Yeah, it's just dumb.
I was completely unsurprised to see People Can Fly was on that list. Now, there's no...
By the way, Xbox Game Studios, which includes the Coalition, who's made every Gears game since 2015, including E-Day, is on that list. You didn't need People Can Fly to be on that list, you fucking moron. If you're gonna hate just for the sake of hating, be a real hater. Tune up your hating game. Be an accurate hater, dude. K-Dot just went and performed at the Super Bowl. You are not hating hard enough. At least not in a way that is, you know, comprehensible.
Evidence that Sweet Baby consulted on Outriders, but both the developer, People Can Fly, and the publisher, which was Square Enix, both of them were on Sweet Baby's client list up until this past year, so chances are they had some input on that woke stinker. And while that may not mean that they will have anything to do with Gears of War E...
So they may not even have anything to do with Gears 8A. But the slim chance that they might means that it's dumb and woke and gay. Come on, guys, keep up.
Day, I find it impossible to believe that in such a relatively short time, a studio would be able to wash the stench of that company's corrupting influence from them.
Do you know how much overturns are prevalent in the game industry? From 2020 to 2021, the Coalition lost all of their major leads of development. You'd be surprised at how fast studios can overturn some strong-ass paranoia. That's exactly what it is. This is just schizophrenic. He's saying, well, they worked with them once 8 years ago, so now everything they ever do is dumb and gay. Yeah, 8 years ago. What?
Now, people argue that Sweet Baby doesn't do much, in which case, then fine. Either Sweet Baby corrupted People Can Fly, or you can argue that People Can Fly was stupid enough to hire Sweet Baby in the first place. Either.
Your whole argument about People Can Fly is that the characters, the female characters in Outriders, are just slightly too masculine for you. A game which, judging based on the cover art, which I know this guy apparently loved to do, but judging it based on the cover art, it seems like the kind of game where having a little bit of muscle would be a good thing. They look like they're soldiers of some kind. Do you want Megan Fox to go in with a fucking gun? Like, is that the only acceptable level of female character you have? But you'll go back and you'll say, oh, Alien isn't woke because it's a good female character. But, like, Ripley has a little bit of muscle. Is that too dumb and gay and woke now? The look Marcus gives Dom when he hands him the bandana, they're looking at each other too gay. So you say that, but people have been saying queers of war since 2006. That's not... How are they more paranoid than somebody who's mentally ill? Well, because they are also mentally ill. Most of this group is. I mean, some are doing it purely for the grift. This seems more like on the grift side of things. I'm sitting on my cape, sorry. Like they're just doing it straight up for the paycheck. And then you have people like Synthetic Man who are actually mentally ill. and who probably need help. But I guess Grifter's gonna grift.
Way, I want no part of anything that they're doing. I just can't trust anything that People Can Fly does now because it has been so damn long since something good has come out from that company. The thing is, in the game...
They've made one game in the last 8 years. This is not like Ubisoft, where they put out a bad game every 6 months. Or Activision, where they put out a shitty COD game every year. This is a studio that very rarely works on projects, and when they do, they are mid at worst. And most of the people who were at People Can Fly that are now also going to be working on Gears E-Day have worked on the last 3 Gears of War games. Do you have any evidence about this, other than they used to be woke and gay, so therefore they are woke and gay forever? No? Okay, shut the fuck up.
Gaming world, 12 years is an eternity, and that is how long it's been since People Can Fly made anything worth playing. And during that time, the industry has changed mightily, and the same faces that were in the company back when they were making kick-ass games with the Gears of War title.
So, you're telling us to look at the developers, but you won't look at the developers of People Can Fly, who have worked on Gears of War in the last 5 years. Shut up.
Attached to it, a good chunk of those people are now gone. The director of Judgment is no longer with the company, as an example. It looks as though the company has been gutted at the top in much the same way that CD Projekt Red has been morphed into something different with all the new faces at that company. So, with all of this in mind, I will be absolutely closing my wallet for this game unless we learn something extraordinary about it. The trailers and gameplay videos would have to be really, really good, and the reviews from people I trust would have to be incredible as well. I do want
to be fair, he's not talking about the old games. I wouldn't necessarily find a need to use old gameplay anyways. But that being said, I don't believe he's touched a Gears of War game. If he has, it was back in the 360 days in 2011, 2008, whatever. He doesn't regularly play Gears. He hasn't played these games anytime recently. This has nothing to do with Gears of War, or the merits of Gears of War E-Day, or the merits of Gears 5, or Gears 4, or those people behind Gears of War, or People Can Fly. This is purely schizophrenic posting about they used to be gay, so they must be gay now. Full stop. No other way about it. Can't be different in any way whatsoever. Trust me, bro. It's basically exactly what it is.
To allow for people to redeem themselves, but based on recent history in gaming, the likeliness of that happening seems pretty damn low. I recommend that everyone regard this title with extreme skepticism moving forward. But I'm going to leave it there. Drop your thoughts on the whole Gears of War E-Day situation into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties.
Damn, that is like crazy outro. CD Red is already outrote. Yeah. Outright woke. I have a feeling a masculine girl boss is going to play a prominent role in the game. The main characters are Marcus and Dom. We've already been shown. We know what happens at Kelowna. We know what happens on E-Day. It's in the books. We know, if anything, the other characters will be Ty and likely Pat. Is it Pat? I forget his name. He's got like a 3-letter name. The other guy. What? I wonder if anyone brings up... Somebody bring up Alex? No, they're just schizo posting. All the existing female characters wouldn't be soldiers or weren't around during that time. I mean, if we go to Asphalt Fields, we have Helena. And Birdie was definitely around at the time. Sam? Pad Thai. Not like the dish. Two different characters. One's named Thai, one's named Pad. But there's definitely... Queen Mira is still alive? Okay, we're not playing as... Mira. This is just schizophrenic posting. They're just saying, oh, they're obviously going to have a lesbian person of color in the game. What are you basing that on? We already have a strong idea of what characters are probably going to be in the game based on the existing lore of E-Day. We know who the characters are. Okay. This is all just schizophrenic posting. They're all just like being paranoid for no reason. There is no reason or evidence to suggest that like what he's talking about is actually has any chance of happening. Oh, shut up. Damn, the whole subscribe thing is just straight up a video that he reuses in every single one? That's kind of lame. Hold on, what was that thumbnail? God, he's posting a shit ton. Oh my god, the woke is easy. Oh, there's new. Hold on. There's another one. Did he have anything? Is that a AI generated Overwatch character? If you have to use AI to make games look gay, more gay than they are, I feel like that kind of hurts your argument. Hold on, he made another Gears one. I don't care.
And my video yesterday about my expectations that Gears of War E-Day will be an unplayable woke mess seems to have gotten the attention of a few people who were just waiting for the gaming community to notice what's going on with the development of this game. Of course, the people making this game wouldn't want you to notice any of
the same exact timestamps as the last video
of this, but the studio, People Can Fly, was just announced as being brought on board to co-develop the new Gears game, which is alarming
we
for
talk
us
about
Gears
this.
of War fans, considering the woke Outriders game that People Can Fly put out just a few years ago, and the fact that People Can Fly, were on Sweet Baby Inc.'s client list. This is no longer a studio that can be trusted, but it's time we also discussed the other co-developer, the Coalition, because multiple sources have reached out to me in the past day with information that makes it clear that the people of that studio are awful.
I'm so sick of these people. You know, oh!
Now, keep in mind that the Coalition is responsible for Gears of War 5, the girl boss version of that franchise. That being said,
we're back to the Andy Pants thing. There's not really a whole lot of girl bossing in Gears 5. Kate is kind of a poorly written character, but there's nothing about her that makes her a girl boss. She's just a poorly written main protagonist of an action-adventure game. You could make her a dude, and it would still be just as poor. It doesn't really matter whatsoever. Like, her femininity does not play a role into the game whatsoever. Outside of the fact that it gives her, like, a maternal connection to trust and reliable sources. That's what I'm interested to see. But like, it gives her a maternal connection to Mira and Reyna, obviously. But this guy has not played Gears 5. He's doing the Andy Pants thing where he's seen the cover. There's a woman on the cover, so therefore it's a girl boss, it's woke, gay, and dumb.
I wanted to give E-Day the benefit of the doubt because the trailer that was released last year looked so good, and I figured that it's been so long since...
So, you see the trailer, which shows us that they want to go back to Gears of War's roots of being more gritty, more, grounded, more stylized in that dark horror atmosphere way, and kind of back to like the Brotherhood route of Marcus and Dom. And you're like, oh, that looks cool. You're judging it based on the merits of the trailer that they show to us. And then you see that they worked with Sweet Baby Inc. and the paranoia, the schizophrenia seeps in, and all of a sudden, it's dumb, woke, and gay. And it has zero chance of being good whatsoever. Understood.
Gears 5 came out that maybe the developers learned their lesson. I was cautiously optimistic, but now, with what I'm hearing from the people who reached out to me, it sounds as if the Coalition is a studio we absolutely cannot support, and the Gears of War franchise, it sounds like...
We just talked about this in the last video. Xbox Game Studios, which includes the Coalition, was on your stupid Sweet Baby Inc. picture. It was in this video too. It's right above People Can Fly. It's right there. If People Can Fly is all it takes to be damning for a studio, not People Can Fly, if Sweet Baby Inc. and the connection to that is all it takes for a studio to be damned and to be corrupted to never make a good game ever again, how come you didn't know that beforehand? Are you saying insider sources are telling you that it's a sorority of woke beta male gamers because you're trying to make up for the fact that you didn't bring it up before? You don't want to look like a total fucking retard? Because I'm telling you, you're not hating at your full potential.
is pretty much going to be flushed down the toilet.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
Yeah, that was pretty much my reaction to all this. I really wanted this game to be good, but, and I have heard this now from multiple people who work in and around the Coalition, corroborating this information, these folks reached out to me after seeing my video yesterday. Nobody had really been talking about the game prior to that, but they decided to reach out after seeing that video. Naturally, everyone asked to be kept completely anonymous, but with the
Completely anonymous. Do you have like a way to verify it at all? Because, as you said, you give it 100-to-1 odds of being not good, dumb, woke, and gay. I give your sources 100-to-1 odds of being accurate and real. These people don't even talk to Shadows, who is a day one glazer and glazes everything TC does to no end. And they, they'll give him a tour of the studio. It's not like he's getting inside information. But you expect me to believe your video that did 30,000 views got picked up by people inside the Coalition, and they privately reached out to you under 24 hours, by the way. He said this video came out a day before he made this one. In under 24 hours, they reached out to you to tell you exactly how bad it is, but you just so happen don't have anything to corroborate or, put forward as evidence for this. And you don't have a good history of being... I don't know you personally, obviously. In the last video, you don't have a good history of being very logical or attuned to what you're even fucking talking about. So you expect me to believe you off the goodwill of you say so? Trust me, bro? Is that all it takes? Oh, fuck me.
Number of sources that reached out to me with bits and pieces of information that corroborated one another and painted a pretty grim picture. It sounds as if this prequel with Marcus and Dom was dreamed up by someone
the Rat Kings.
Up at the studio, and
You think this is one of the bad guys from Arkham Shadow? That's why I'm here. That's why Batman pulled up. I gotta find the Rat King. we gotta dive through the grifters to find him.
Developers who are working on it are not at all happy that they are having to wade through the so-called toxic masculinity. The studio was literally described to me, the Coalition was described to me as a sorority. The exact word was...
Even like Gears of War 3, for all of its faults and for all the issues I personally have with my hair looks like awful. For all the issues I have with that game, Marcus and Dom's relationship, at least in Act 3, like the whole Mercy section, is like one of the most most blatant examples of positive masculinity in a video game, let alone a game about big steroided men not kissing each other, although they probably should be, that exists. Like, Marcus cries about Dom's death, which is like the opposite of toxic masculinity, you know? Like, the whole idea of toxic masculinity is like this culture of men who like tell each other to not cry, to like bury everything deep down and not have emotions. And like, that's like the opposite. He cries twice in that game, actually. He throws a fit until his girlfriend has to come and like help him feel better at the end of the game. Gears 3 is woke, guys. Sorry to tell you this. It's woke and it's gay and it's dumb. The bleeding heart image. Yeah, which, you know, is like not toxic masculinity. At least not blatantly, right? It's not as simple. There's more nuance to it. I know nuance is a scary word for people like this, but there's more layers to it. There's more depth to it. But it's still woke. Damn.
Used by multiple people, and from these sources they make it clear that these people at the Coalition feel as if Gears of War E-Day is beneath them.
How dare you, you insolent peasant! Nobody talks to me that way!
Hey, lady! Shut up!
Is Dr. Disaster with messages from people who had worked either within or around the studio, the Coalition. And they were apparently just waiting for some of us to start noticing what is going on with the Gears franchise. After the sales failure of Gears of War 5 about 6 years ago, it seems that someone with some authority realized that doing...
Hold on. Do we have a thing here? Commercial performance. Microsoft's most successful first-party launch since Halo 4. I mean, 7th best-selling game in in September. That's not great, but it's like it doesn't sound like it was a complete absolute failure. I really love showing the E-Day footage because it's all he has. I mean, it's all anyone has about E-Day, but it would be too much to like load up Gears 3 for 10 minutes or something to get unique background footage. That would be too much effort and work.
The girl boss thing in what amounts to just about the most masculine franchise ever, it just didn't.
Marcus cries in Gears of War 3 twice. Dom dies in Gears of War 2. That's not very masculine, guys. That's dumb and woke and gay. It's stupid. I don't know, man. I think you're wrong. I think Gears of War is not very masculine, actually. I'm starting to believe that Gears of War is the first woke game ever to perpetuate in AAA industry formats.
Work. Of course, even back then, in 2019, Microsoft was doing the thing that they always publicly do with the sales number of their games.
Oh,
they obfuscated
even in the books.
their failures by hiding behind Game Pass as if that's a blanket excuse for nobody buying their game. It's hard to believe that excuse has been a thing for this long now, but in any event, internally, the people in charge of the franchise were very aware that gamers were not loving the direction of this game.
The person in charge of the franchise left before the end of Gears 5's lifetime. You would know this if you knew anything about Gears of War, but I know you don't. Rod Ferguson, who was in charge of Gears 4 and Gears 5 and Gears Tactics to an extent, left the Coalition before Gears 5 left. Which, by the way, most fans of Gears of War, even on the Gears of War Reddit, even in the Gears of War forums when they were still around, people do not just hate Gears 4 and Gears 5 for no reason. They have issues with the multiplayer, sure. The Horde and the escape mode, as far as I could tell from general public perception, seems to be mostly on the positive side. A lot of people really like the Horde, a lot of people really like escape. And the campaign is wishy-washy. Obviously, it's no one's favorite. Maybe it's a few people's favorite, but it's very mid. It's very 6 out of 10, which is not, Gears Judgment was a 6 out of 10. Gears 1 was a 6 out of 10. This series is not known for being above and beyond above-the-belt hitters all the way through. Gears of War definitely has more mid games than good games. It's got maybe one good game by my estimations, 2, because I like tactics. But this is not like a heavy-hitting game series or anything, It's not like Halo going from Halo 3 to Halo 4, or Halo 3 to Reach and then 4, It's not... This isn't the same. Your frame of reference is bad because you didn't do any research, and the fact that you can't even do research on the game that has been out for 5, going on 6 years this year, tells me that your inside sources are definitely just ChatGPT.
Therefore, they decided to bring back the old fan favorites Marcus and Dom and give them another game. Well, it turns out that the shrieking harpy feminists that have been hired at the Coalition studio are none too thrilled to be working on this project, and they have been looking for any excuse at all to include the sort of things that gamers wouldn't want to see in...
Do you have, any evidence of this? Because this has been the case for some projects, right? Like the Witcher TV show on Netflix, you have the director of the show straight out coming out and saying, hey, I don't respect the source material. I think the source material sucks, so I'm just going to use this as a platform to do my own thing. Is there any evidence about the feminized leaders of the Coalition doing the same thing? I don't even know if... Joshua Mata. That is not the same. The Coalition, not just Coalition. Do we know who their leader is? I know Rod was directing. Xbox Game Studios. Studio head is Mike Crump. I'm not familiar with that name. Hold on. Oh, he's been the studio head for a while. Okay. Oh, damn. He's been around since Gears 2. I mean, that's not a bad thing, right? So, hold on. The studio head, who has been around since Gears of War 2, is all of a sudden... Gears of War 2, which most people regard as, the best Gears of War game because of the multiplayer, or the campaign and shit like that, is secretly a feminized dude waiting to destroy the Gears of War franchise from the inside. Matt Sierke. Well, is he the studio director? Matt Sierke is the director. I was looking at the actual studio director, not the game director. Matt Sierke. I'm not familiar with him either. Secret. Lead campaign designer of Gears 4. Why am I on Gears of P? Oh, is this him? Creative director, Matt Sierke. The new God of War is woke as fuck. Oh, yeah. Cory Barlog is one of my favorite video game creators of recent times. I think he's a great storyteller. I realize that a lot of the words we use to describe their franchise are what our fans like. Phrases like brotherhood, brutality, pathos, awe, says Sierke. So the game director who's publicly speaking about the game, this was June of last year, is saying the exact fucking opposite of your quote-unquote inside sources that totally aren't ChatGPT. Good to know. That's not even like a deep dive or anything. I'm relying on my Twitch chat and Google. It takes 2 seconds to put some thought into this and not just go, inside sources told me. JohnXbox@gmail.com told me.
Such a game. They want to add a new girl boss. There was apparently even talks of some LGBT stuff getting shoved into the game. They wanted to try to do it in a low-key way.
LGBT stuff getting shoved into the game. First of all, Gears of War has never even had a, LGBT character ever. Would that be a bad thing? You know, we're like 30 characters in at this point. Would it be bad to have one gay character? Is that really the straw that breaks the camel's back? Is that all it takes? You don't think there's a 30-to-1 ratio of straight to gay people in the United States today? I mean, that feels like a fairly accurate ratio. Is that really the make or break for you? That's it? That's one character out of like fucking... I don't even know how many characters have been playable in the Gears of War series, let alone just characters that we've known about. What the fuck? Is that all? That's all it takes? Is one girl boss, which Gears of War has plenty of poorly written girl boss characters to begin with. Like, there are poorly written female characters in Gears before Kate. Alex Brand is a poorly written character. Bernie is also a character that's kind of all over the place, you know? Helena Stroud is talking shit to Adam Phoenix, the first thing she does in the comics. The female characters are constantly upstaging male characters in Gears of War already, and they have been doing this since 2008, but you don't give a shit, because now you can, gallivant around like you give a shit about it. It makes no sense.
To fly under the radar, but they want to do...
The manliest thing you can do is fuck another man. That's what the Spartans did. Like, these guys have a heart-on for Spartans, but the Spartans were gay as fuck. You know? The Greeks invented orgies. The Romans added women. Like, if you're gonna go the full, I'm a man, I'm a Spartan route, fuck another man. Do it, pussy.
Whatever they think they can get by with. It sounds as though a good chunk of this has been shot down, and the feminist sewer creatures and their simps who inhabit this studio have been half-assing the development of the game as a result. Now, as I said earlier, multiple people described the studio as a sorority. It was said to be an incredibly unprofessional place. And with these developers dragging their ass on the development of this game, it sounds as though this is one of the reasons why the secondary studio, People Can Fly, have been brought on board to...
Gears of War has always had a secondary development studio to help flesh out multiplayer and stuff. Feminist sewer, yeah, they just have to insult because they have literally nothing else. I've been mean as shit to this guy as well, but facts come first, and then the insults fly. But, like, Gears 3 had support from another studio. Gears 2, I'm not sure. I believe so. Gears Judgment had support from another studio. Gears Ultimate Edition had support from another studio. Gears 4 and 5 had support from another studio. It's a big AAA game with a lot of stuff going on. I don't know if you know this, but most AAA games are made in cahoots with more than one studio. That's why support studios like People Can Fly exist. They basically exist to be a support studio. What is so hard to comprehend about that? Do you think that one studio makes an entire game by itself at one time, and it's just that? Are you that stupid? What? It just doesn't make any sense when you put more than 2 seconds of thought into it.
co-develop this new Gears of War game, because these unprofessional D-bags just weren't getting the job done. But the fear now is that People Can Fly is a studio which, as we discussed yesterday, seems to be ideologically captured, and so the likelihood of the sort of things that gamers dislike being put into the game has just gone way up. Now, as I said, the hope before was that they could lure gamers, that Gears of War could lure gamers into buying another Gears game with the characters that made it so popular in the first place, similar to the way that Disney...
Yeah, but Marcus and Dom were written by Karen Travis in Gears of War 3, and she's a woman, and they cry a lot. Dumb, woke, and gay.
tries to lure Star Wars fans into watching their new crap using references to old beloved characters. It's a trick that has worked for a while when progressive political shit was still ascendant in entertainment before we caught on to their tricks. But the problem for these guys now is that gamers are on the watch for anything at all like this in these games. And
why do you think they're just so out to get you? You're schizophrenic. You need medication. You need a therapist. You're like, what is that called? Gang stalkers? Where you think that like everybody's out to get you? You have gay gang stalkers. Yeah.
The studios know very well that we are onto this shit. And one of the sources that contacted me informed me that this is a source of unspoken tension at the studio now, where ideas are floated that are very 2019 in nature, the sort of ideas that would have worked when wokeness was still the fad that these people were all chasing, but everyone kinda knows the score, where they have to try to play it straight to win people back. Based on how this was described to me, it will actually be interesting to see what the game looks like when it's released. The marketing for it will almost assuredly be testosterone-fueled masculinity, but it sounds like the game itself may be peppered with little woke Easter eggs. This will be a mistake, though, if they do that. As I've spoken about...
So, like, by that logic, is Gears 2 and Gears 3 peppered with little woke Easter eggs? Because they cry, and there's female characters that are as badass as the male characters. They're girl bosses, if you will. Does that mean Gears 3 is full of woke Easter eggs? What the fuck does that even mean? If it's woke Easter eggs being a thing in games that you have to go out of your way to hunt down and find, how does that make the game woke? If it's an Easter egg in the way that you have to go out of your way, like a dog whistle or something, you have to go out of your way to find it or understand it, how does that make the entire game woke? What is that logic there? The game has a pride flag planted in one corner of one map if you look 700 miles off with a long shot. Woke. Oh no, the terms toxic masculinity was coined by men who loved masculinity. Probably not, but these people don't know history. That's how that works. Character development and emotions are absolutely not allowed in this next game. You are not allowed to be a person. You have to be a robot that just shoots bullshit. And that's it for 7 games straight. There can't be any rainbows. There can't be any gay people. People of color is only allowed when they're a stereotype, which almost every person of color in the Gears games have been. Like, the whole train is just Michael Jordan. And other things like that. It's like it has to be so on the surface, so basic and so shallow for it to make sense to their stupid, small, tiny brains. And I say small and tiny because it takes somebody with a small and tiny brain to fall for this bullshit.
Out a few times this past week or so already, Nintendo recently put out this demographic information showing that the people who play their Switch system is overwhelmingly male. And the crazy thing about that is that of all the platforms...
How do they get this, though? What is this information based on? let's look at this survey and see how they collect this information. Because if it's something like the email questionnaire, which targeted 600,000 people. So out of 600,000 people who replied to the email, let's get this straight also. Say a Switch is normally a family thing. We have a Switch here at the house. I bought the Switch. The Switch is signed into all my bullshit because I do everything. It's signed in on my email. That's how it works. My fiance is the majority person who uses the Switch. So, just because it's my information and I am male on the Nintendo account, that's not the predominant use that the Switch has here at the house. And I'm sure that also applies to a lot of people who have Switches, you know? You look at, like, say, the Xbox is at my dad's house, right? He is a almost 50-year-old man. There's 3 Xboxes in his household. All 3 of those Xboxes are attributed with his email. He is male, he is 50. Are all 3 of those Xboxes predominantly used by a 50-year-old dude? No. They're used by my younger brothers and cousins and stuff like that, right? They're used by children that are using his account. Which is also how a majority of these are probably going to be. There's no way to accurately get this study. You're trusting, wide polls of random people. Which, to an extent, it is so skewed in one direction that it is probably mostly true. But where's the, percentage of error? This is not a scientific study of how many people accurately play it, Because how many of those people that replied to the email have people that are female or younger in their household who also use the Switch, and they just happen to be the primary user who's attached to the Switch via email and who responded to it as themselves? Data is not always so cut and dry. That's why you have to think about data and think about charts to take it a little bit deeper. Plus, this is only 600,000 people, which, it's a pretty strong number, but how many Switches exist out there? Hold on. How many Switches have been sold? 143 million. So out of 143 million Nintendo Switches, 600,000 of them responded to that email. Now, I don't know about you, but the kind of people who would respond to an email asking about your information is probably predominantly going to be, I would think it's guys that are responding to an email that's, I don't know how they collected the survey. I don't know if they just asked or if they were like, hey, answer our questionnaire and we'll give you a raffle chance to win Nintendo points or whatever, I know a lot of places will do that where they'll be like, hey, answer our questionnaire and you'll have a chance to win a $1,000 Walmart gift card. Is it set up like that? Because if that's the case, there's a certain demographic, predominantly older, who's going to be responding to your thing. Because, they want the reward of it. Based in culture solely on biological or genes. Kind of. But it's like, in the grand scheme of, I actually don't know how much that is. 143,000,000 divided by 600. 1, 2, 3. So there's 238 times more people using the Switch that we don't have information on. Something about me says this study is not entirely, all accumulative. Now, I don't disagree with the fact that it's probably mostly on the right track. On, being more skewed older, more male. But at the same time, I don't think it's as heavily skewed as it says. Like, these numbers are way the fuck off to get any substantial information. It's like being like, we asked the population of New York City what they think about Manhattan or whatever. And it's like, oh, okay, where do you pull that information from? It's like, oh, we asked 100 people in Grand Central Park. It's like, okay, cool. You know how many people live in Manhattan? Asking 100 is like it might be indicative of a larger, more complex number. Sure, it'll get you on the road there, but you need more than that. You need more information. You need more evidence to say anything concretely, So I don't really think this is all that conclusive, especially based on the little bit of information it gives. Which targeted 600,000 people. So it didn't even ask everybody. It only targeted a specific 600,000? Is that how that's... Am I reading that right? So they only specifically asked 600,000 people. What is this from? Is this from... Hold on. Is this the same? Hold on, real quick. On top of everything I just said.
Information showing that the people who play their Switch system is overwhelmingly male. And
This article came out in 2017. Dr. Bullshit, Dr. Disaster. This is a disaster. This is an 8-year-old survey. 60,000, does it say? I thought it said 600. No, it says 600. But either way, it's an 8-year-old survey. The Switch is infinitely more popular now than it was. Hold on. 8 million sales. So this was a survey made when the Switch had sold 8 million hard copies of 8 million units of the Switch were sold at the time. The Switch has now sold 143 million. I don't know about you, but that's a big fucking difference in 2017 to 2024. So not only are these numbers skewed by today's metrics, not only are they skewed by the metrics of the time, because even in 2017, a 600,000 out of 8 million is still kind of a narrow margin. It's even more narrow today. It's outdated, first of all. The information gathering is not really scientific. It's just sort of like a general survey that was sent out to only 600,000 people. What the fuck? You're using a outdated, old, poorly conducted survey from 2017 to say that the majority of people playing the Switch in 2025 are predominantly male and older than 18. The levels of stupidity do you even include the original date in this? No, you have it cropped very specifically so people will think that it's current date. This is an 8-year-old survey. The levels of stupidity are unmatched. The 60,000 thing, that's the buyers that reported to be women. Which, if there's 600,000 and roughly 10% of them said that they were female, 60,000 would be women. That's what that's saying. Of the over 60,000 people replied with, and the results suggest 86% are men. Wait, hold on. Never mind, you're right. It's worse. It's worse than 600,000. 600,000 people were targeted. 60,000 replied. So it's not 10% of 600,000 of 130 million or 8 million when this came out. It's 10% of 60,000. The numbers here are so flawed and useless that to use this as actual evidence for anything even remotely considering a point, which is already stupid to begin with because this entire video rests upon the fact that People Can Fly and or the Coalition worked with Sweet Baby Inc. 8 years ago, makes it dumb and woke and gay. Maybe 2%. It was 2% accurate in 2017. 8 years ago. It's been almost a decade. We're about to get the Switch 2. It's been so long. The levels of stupidity here show why it's important to look into things, because he could say this all day fucking long, and there's not a single thing that seems to indicate that it's close to being true. God, it's so fucking easy to grift. These people are so fucking stupid.
The crazy thing about that is that of all the platforms people can play on, Nintendo would seem to be the most attractive to a female audience. What with games...
None of this matters. We just went through how this is the most useless bullshit you could have ever shown us.
Things like Animal Crossing and Pokemon and things like that having a...
Animal Crossing, which would come out 3 years after this video came out. It's clear his brain hasn't developed past age 12. Probably. I don't think his brain has developed past 2017 as a year. He's still stuck on Outriders, which came out in 2017. Did it come out? It might have come out like later, like 2020, whatever. Anyways, a long fucking time ago. He's just stuck in the past in general.
Larger female audience than many other IPs. So, if Nintendo can't even manage more than about 11...
When has Pokemon ever been a feminine-focused game? Because Pokemon is gay and lame. It doesn't have guns and guts and glory. It's obviously not a game for men. Come on, get it right. I'm actually curious to see... demographics. Oh, shit. It's hard to type when you're wearing a fucking suit, man. 2024. Hey, Switch survey results 2024. Let's see what this says. Most of this is mainly about the Switch itself, and it has nothing to do with demographics of the people who played. Damn. Nope, that's that one from 2017. Do they even collect that information anymore? Men and women. He doesn't know shit about Pokemon YouTubers? Yeah. That's still 2017. If we take it at face value, and we do as much journalistic integrity as Dr. Disaster has done here, according to a tweet from 2023 that I can't really verify, but he didn't verify this post from 2017 anyways, 62% of modern Nintendo Switch owners are female. So basically the exact opposite of what Dr. Disaster is saying when you put like a tiny little bit of effort into the research. God, it's so fucking stupid. I love how you can just cherry pick stuff and cut out the time and date to serve your purposes. Women can't just get enough walking and looking down at our cell phones. You know, Pokemon Go. Perfect audience. I know mobile gaming in general tends to be more popular with women. Like, you look at like the kinds of games and stuff, especially on mobile, like people who are male, like me, I grew up with younger brothers. We played Xbox our entire lives growing up. My mom has not touched a video game console since like Nintendo in the 80s. But she played the fuck out of Candy Crush. It's definitely like a medium that is more accessible to, I think, women, especially like because it just tends to be that most women, in my anecdotal experience, have less interest in like consoles and more like hardcore gaming. So something that's accessible and is already existing on a device that you already have. Almost everybody has a smartphone. I couldn't imagine somebody not having a smartphone in today's age. So it's just easy and accessible to have there, you know. It's like social media. Everyone has social media because it's so accessible to us, just right on our phones.
% female users, then you can about imagine that Xbox and PlayStation are likely lower than that. So with that in mind, adding...
That same Circana thing, by the way, found that like around 50% of Xbox and PlayStation owners were also female. So it seems to be roughly a 50% split, according to that Circana article that was posted and deleted on Twitter. But I'm doing about as much journalistic interviewing as this guy did on his Nintendo report from 8 years ago. Legend of Zelda on the NES. No, never plays any video or mobile games. Yeah. Boomers.
Anything woke to a Gears of War game, making it anything less than 100% testosterone fueled, including anything, in other words, that...
Marcus cries like a little bitch in Gears of War 3. That's not very testosterone fueled to me.
Isn't guns and chainsaws and horrible monsters that you have to kill. Anything other than that is a very poor idea. But I'm going to leave it there.
Okay.
What do you make
so you've never
of this
played a Gears of War game.
Drop your thoughts into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching me, Hearties.
Dude, that outro is so fucking annoying. out of all the stuff we've seen from Gears E-Day, that's the gayest. To be, entirely rude about it. Oh, I see that Witcher article. I'm not going to read the article, but yeah. We've talked about The Witcher already with Marcus got punched twice. Yeah. Call that Marcus. He does. Hold on. Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. Spoilers for Gears of War 3, which came out 13 years ago. 14 years ago? Close. One of the two. I don't want the music to play.
He's gone! He's gone! There's nothing you can do!
Look! He's crying like a little bitch. Well, not yet, but... Look at him!
It's okay, Marcus.
Look at his face! That's not the face of a man flooded with testosterone. He's being talked down to and calmed down by his blonde-haired bimbo wife. He's crying! He's crying! That stupid whiny bitch! Gears 3 is woke and gay and dumb and bullshit. It's such a stupid argument. And every time, they do the exact same playbook every single time. The fact that, like, when we first got into, I don't even remember, Dr. Disaster, his video on Gears of War... and the fact that, like, the very first thing I said was that, like, his entire thing was just going to be, schizophrenic paranoia based on the fact that the Coalition and or People Can Fly are connected to Sweet Baby Inc. And that's exactly what it was. And him asking ChatGPT for inside sources on the Coalition when the creative director of the game has been there since Gears of War 2... but is secretly trying to destroy it and make it a feminized girl boss nightmare. What are you even talking about? Never seen something disgusting, a man crying? Yeah, look at this shit. This shit is woke and gay and bullshit. Even Gray from Bulletstorm. Mitzi wasn't afraid to admit a man can't get scared and Trishka saved his life. Woke girl boss. Yeah, Trishka from Bulletstorm. Woke girl boss. I think that's probably evidence that he hasn't even played Bulletstorm, because Trishka is a girl boss character. Oh, man. These people are all so fucking stupid. There is no limits to the mediocrity of their understanding of the universe. But without further ado, it's like 1 a.m. We've been going for about 3.5 hours now. I'm still wearing this stupid fucking costume. Thank you, everybody who's been here, who's watching this maybe later on a different part of the stream. Depth of characters when you let them, act human. Oh, character writing, motivations, character arcs. Nah. These guys only like it when characters are 100% masculine 100% of the time, which isn't even true for the Gears of War series, if you've actually played the games. But these people haven't. They just want to use it as a stage foundation for their bullshit grifting. But I'm not going to go into another rant. I'm done. I want to take this bullshit off. We will be back. I don't know if we'll be doing Batman next week. We might. It'll depend on how I'm feeling. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. As always, it is a wonderful costume. It's just not very comfortable, especially for long periods of time. It's like riding up on my fucking neck. We will be back next Saturday, 9 p.m. You're welcome. I am Batman. 9 p.m. Central, next Saturday. Doing whatever. I'll figure it out. It'll be in the Discord. That's it. Stay cool. Have fun. Be awesome. And I'll see you next time. Buster out. Whatever the fuck I'm supposed to say.